This enormous futuristic city celebrates powerful heroes, but one starving young man has already lost everything. Surrounded by successful citizens, he wanders through the crowd wearing clothes covered in dirt and damage. His entire morning meal consists of one inexpensive cup of coffee held between trembling hands. He sits alone, gathering enough courage to carry out the dangerous plan that brought him here. After paying a terrible price to reach this point, he desperately hopes today will change his life. The young man takes another drink, unaware that his ordinary coffee is about to become something horrifying. A mysterious black substance suddenly drops into the cup, spreading across the surface like living blood. He notices the contamination immediately, but starvation prevents him from throwing away his only source of energy. Against every survival instinct, he drinks the remaining coffee and swallows the unknown substance. Several guild members sit nearby, eating comfortably while the young man struggles to keep the drink down. Once the cup is empty, he realizes there is no reason to delay his plan any longer. He stands quickly and accidentally knocks the container onto the ground. Instead of abandoning it, he bends down and picks it up despite his obvious weakness. His fingers barely respond, showing just how badly hunger and exhaustion have damaged his body. With his remaining strength, the stranger begins walking toward the nearest police station. Everyone keeps their distance, assuming the filthy young man is only another homeless civilian. He staggers through the city, but refuses to stop before reaching the authorities. The police headquarters finally appears ahead, giving him one last chance to reconsider. However, he enters anyway, fully prepared to surrender himself and accept whatever punishment follows. Inside the station, armed personnel notice him approaching the front desk. The receptionist appears confused because this exhausted stranger clearly does not resemble a dangerous criminal. Without being questioned, the young man announces that he has come to confess. A faint smile crosses his face because being arrested may actually be part of his plan. Before he can explain the supposed crime, emergency sirens begin screaming throughout the building. Public warning systems report that a monster has appeared within the populated district. Surprisingly, the young man shows almost no reaction, as though he expected disaster to arrive. Across the city, medical workers examine people affected by increasingly frequent supernatural incidents. Researchers operate on victims while attempting to understand how humans and monsters are being transformed. Meanwhile, a grotesque creature tears into a civilian and begins feeding in the middle of the street. The crowd instantly explodes into panic as the monster launches itself toward more helpless victims. Security forces respond with heavy weapons, bombarding the creature from multiple directions. Explosions cover the road, but ordinary ammunition struggles to stop such a powerful supernatural enemy. The monster emerges from the destruction with its burning eye still fixed upon its prey. Sometime after the catastrophe, a mysterious patient regains consciousness inside a protected laboratory. His eyes open slowly while equipment continues forcing air into his weakened body. The silver-haired man studies his hand and senses an impossible power awakening inside him. Blue energy gathers between his palms, growing brighter as he attempts to control it. A massive discharge erupts from his body, demonstrating the power of an awakened human. Awakened fighters became humanity's answer to monsters that modern weapons could not defeat. Each warrior possessed a different supernatural ability, ranging from elemental attacks to mysterious magical techniques. Specialized academies trained these gifted people and transformed them into professional hunters. Successful hunters received extraordinary wealth, rare equipment, and privileges unavailable to normal civilians. The greatest fighters founded influential guilds, commanding teams capable of clearing deadly monster zones. Unfortunately, this new system also widened the difference between celebrated hunters and powerless citizens. The black-haired stranger lived at the very bottom, trapped in poverty with seemingly no way out. After entering the station, he He is transferred into a heavily secured interrogation room. Multiple armed officers stand ready because nobody understands what the strange prisoner might be capable of. From the control room, investigators observe him while a senior officer begins the questioning. The young man appears exhausted, frightened, and dangerously close to collapsing. The officer examines his condition before asking why he came to confess voluntarily. He demands an honest explanation about the violent crime connected to the prisoner. Instead of confessing again, the young man repeatedly says no and rejects the accusation. His contradiction frustrates the investigator, who suspects the prisoner is attempting to manipulate the authorities. Evidence points toward a savage attack involving unnatural strength and an enormous amount of blood. The officer calmly resumes questioning, giving the young man another chance to tell the complete story. He reminds the prisoner that the truth will eventually be discovered whether he cooperates or not. The young man begins sweating because he knows his explanation will sound completely impossible. The investigator repeats the central question, watching the suspect's face for even the smallest reaction. Once again, he answers no, but the fear in his eyes clearly reveals that something happened. In this world, supernatural hunters and monsters are already accepted as part of everyday reality. Even so, the prisoner continues denying everything while lowering his head in terror. The officer warns him to stop wasting time and explain what truly occurred. Finally, looking up, the young man seems less afraid of punishment than of what he may become. That reaction convinces the officer that the case involves something far more dangerous than ordinary murder. He presses harder, determined to discover why the prisoner entered the station willingly. The answer leaves the investigator stunned because it challenges everything he believed about the incident. The powerless beggar may have consumed the source of a monster's strength, and his transformation is only beginning.